I've never been so deflated.
I have to do the pre-roll first.
That's what I was giving you the countdown for.
You are listening to a podcast of the Geek.io Media Network. For all of our shows and more, visit geek-io.net. And to help support the network, head over to patreon.com/geekio.
Hello, gentle listener. While Geek.io holds its talent to the highest standards, what follows will likely involve the sort of language usually reserved for sailors on leave. If you're...
Now for a lesson.
Konbanwa, Anime Otaku Show e yokoso. Good evening. Welcome to the Anime Otaku Show.
You may have heard these words before, but I'll teach you what they really mean.
Remember, we will be discussing all episodes up to the ones we talk about tonight. Kanata go supporter o kinishi nanara. So yo, if you don't mind spoilers, welcome.
Go beyond!
Yes, indeed. Hello. Konbanwa. This is the Anime Otaku Show, episode number 13. 14. I'm your host, CJ Starchy Elastic Dough Boat. Joining me, as always, are Josh, I'm 18 at Heart McGrath.
Eternally.
Carrie, damn Hellcat Wilcox.
Hi.
Justin, why would you do that to the Midoriya scrotum? Carol.
That's me.
Fuck, you changed your nickname without moving it down to Delbert. Delbert.
CJ forgot you.
I had to add that in there.
Riding a Pearl Pegasus stand.
Oh, it's Delbert fried salmon skin.
Yes,
Or
right.
dried salmon skin.
And of course, keeping everything alive and not at all interrupting any parts of the intro is Ro. Beep 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 beep. Garza.
Hello.
Oh man, it's been a couple of weeks, you guys.
Holy shit.
Yeah, it has.
And
It-
the
it
internet
proved-
exploded twice.
Yes. I have notes to prove that I exploded, by the way. We'll get there. But before we get into what we're talking about, we have an email!
Email.
Here's a mail that never fails. Oh, sorry.
Makes me want to wag my tail.
That's okay. I just went into we just got a letter in my head. So
Want a whale.
Atashi no tegami. Atashi no
See, I just get a strong bet
tegami.
whenever I think of emails, so.
All right. Carrie, why don't you give us a read about what this email says?
So this email is from Matt M. Hi, y'all. Just picked up this podcast via Justin. I am his new cousin-in-law, and y'all convinced me to pick up Darling in the Franks. I'm enjoying it, seen up through episode 15, but also I've got some thoughts on it. I am of two minds of how to think of Zero Two. She is clearly a victim of abuse, and this fact completely informs her character. Victims of child abuse often engage in high-risk behavior in their teens, which includes early sexual activity, often with multiple partners, which maps well onto her. Also, people who experience abuse often perpetuate that abuse towards others. She is abusive to A, her partners. She clearly cared little for her dead partners. B, her friends, see episode 14. And C, authority figures in general. Point A especially applies to Hiro, as she demonstrates certain abuser behaviors like bullying, isolating Hiro from his friends, withholding intimacy unless she gets what she wants, etc. I'm torn because I am not sure how much of her behavior I should attribute to her agency and how much I should consider it a direct result of her abuse. The show wants me to think she is badass, that she is sexy, and that she is in control in a manner unlike the other Pistols. I wonder if they also want me to excuse her abusive behavior because of her backstory. What put this into perspective for me was what happened in episode 15. We, as the viewer, know that Hiro and Zero Two need to be together because otherwise the story is effectively over. Nevertheless, consider this situation episode 15 to real life. If you had a friend who was in an abusive relationship with, it would be smart to try and keep your friend away from that partner. Under normal circumstances, the PlayStation 13 crew were completely in the right to keep Hiro and Zero Two apart, but the show has other ideas. I find it somewhat troubling. Also, I'm not sure I'm buying into the angle they are setting up that Hiro can tame her. Having a woman who is a victim of abuse be saved by a presence of a male love interest is pretty weak, and also not realistic when it comes to being in a relationship with someone who has lived through such experiences. There is relationship maintenance that is necessary, and I am not entirely confident that the show will address this properly. What are y'all's thoughts on that?
Go ahead and read the plug.
Also, a shameless plug, I have a podcast called Lightning Strikes Thrice where we are playing through the Final Fantasy XIII trilogy and related games. Some of your listeners might find it entertaining. lightningstrikesthrice.com. Regards, Matt M.
Normally, okay.
Hey, they get points for using the word thrice.
A couple things.
Right.
One, yay, nepotism is the only reason why you got a free plug. Also, you're our first email. So, I'm a little bit more willing to put that in there. That's not normally going to be the case. Just putting that out there. Two, also because you're our first email, I put the entire thing in, and there's a lot that needed to be put in there. However, try not to send us novellas in the future. You are more than welcome to, however, record something and send it into us at geekioshow@gmail.com. Put anime somewhere in the subject title, like Matt did. That will be a lot more willing to, play as long as you keep it under 60 seconds. We're good. So other than those couple of disclaimers, whoo boy, this one.
We got hot takes.
We do, and I should have put this closer to when we were going to be talking about Darling in the FRANXX because
Hey, it's number 1 on our list, my dude.
No, it's not.
What? Did somebody move it?
Our RTFS.
If we, the thing is that
you're right.
we wanted to give Matt a shout out at the beginning of the show because hey, first email is very exciting.
Hey!
And thank you for sending that in.
Yes.
I definitely think he raised some really good points, and we'll want to get into it. But the problem is that so much happened in Darling in the FRANXX that if we open the show with it, that is all we will talk about.
Yeah.
As it is, we may want to take a break before Darling in the FRANXX and just have that happen in the second half of the show and talk about like Love is Hard for an Otaku next show. Because there's a lot to go over in that.
Agreed.
So that is executive decision time. Boop. All right. So yeah, we will go through your email in depth after the break on the second half of the show. So Matt, stay tuned. We will not forget you, but we want to give Darling in the FRANXX, all of the love that it possibly can. So we're going to dedicate the entire second half of the show to it, including your email. But Justin, what else are we talking about tonight?
Well, tonight's shows are My Hero Academia, Season 3, Episode 2, A Wild Wild of Pussycats, Season 3, Episode 3, Kota, Food Wars, Season 3, Episode 14, Onward, The Totsuki Train, that weird episode title, and Episode 15, Jeanne d'Arc Rises, Magical Girl Ore, Season 1, Episodes 1, 2, and 3 of Transform, Ore, and Another. And then later, Darling in the FRANXX, Episode 14, Punishment and Confession, and Episode 15, Jian.
All right. Okay, so let's get started with My Hero Academia.
Okay. CJ, I just wanted to give my disclaimer. Oh, wait, no, that's not for this show. I have a disclaimer about Shokugeki no Soma. I am completely okay with these 2 episodes. Continue.
So really quick, I want to give a shout out to to My Hero Academia because the Wild Wild Pussycats, you notice their 4th member is a little different from the others.
He's so extra and so fabulous. I love him.
He is canonically a trans man.
Oh, that's awesome.
He was assigned female at birth.
That's awesome.
And then transitioned and continued to be a member of the team.
I hope they get into that in the show because they're not afraid to touch other things like that. But Tiger is just the greatest thing ever.
Right?
It's really
Where
good.
is your plus ultra?
You have not got the plus ultra yet. So I'm happy. I'm so happy that Funimation puts these shows out very quickly because I got to watch the dub of them. Yay.
Nice.
Which I don't care what you guys say is my preferred way of watching this show. Like I watched several of them in the sub the voices for some reason, I guess just because I started watching it in the dub, are just not what I want. So they thankfully get these out like 2 days after they air in Japan. So by the time we're talking about these, both the dubs are up, and that makes me happy.
Good.
I'm guessing we're going to hear more about Jian, the villain broker guy.
No.
No, he's just there and leaves.
Nah.
Yeah, I kind of forgot he existed.
Yeah, I forgot he existed, to be honest. I was like, who's this guy? Oh,
He's
wait,
kind of like Launch.
okay.
Oh,
Yeah, he's kind of like Launch.
so it sounds like somebody who should be important and then never appears again.
Blessed be Launch.
I also love how so in that first episode that we're talking about today, the bus stops on their way to the camp and everybody gets out to stretch their legs. And then they get launched off the edge of a fucking cliff.
Yes.
Yeah, something not
Sure hope they signed the
certified.
permission slip.
Right.
Yeah, liability lawyers in this universe must make a shit ton of money just from all the legal fees that they would rake in from creating these waivers and disclaimers.
Yes. Though, like, I've loved everything about this show. All 4 bits of the Wild Wild Pussycats are the best thing to be introduced to this show. Like, I love my shonen and bullshit, but these guys just add a level of flavor that I was not expecting. Like,
yeah, it's about as extra as you can be extra, which is completely and totally desired.
I'm good with that. Like, although, Mineta, why are you just the worst?
Because he's the worst.
Because he's the worst.
Why?
Literally, in the words of the television series that we are watching as a group of friends,
Yes.
Mineta is just the worst.
Tiny embodiment of lust.
So,
You will,
oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was gonna say, what I was originally bringing up was I think that was something that Aizawa planned separately for Class A. Because when you see Class B come in on the next episode, they didn't have any of that shit happen to them. They were just getting started the next day.
Oh yeah,
Right.
Eraserhead is just absolutely like, yep, I'm a fuck with these guys.
And you can tell, like, you can see how he is smiling. Like, he absolutely fucking loves his job and he loves his students.
Yeah.
Even though he is super, super, like, just completely deadpan the whole time. That's just his personality. That's how he expresses himself. But he has a heart of fucking gold.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Well, if you look at his character bio that happens on the screen grabber, I can't remember what that's called.
The eye catcher.
Eye catch. Yeah. He doesn't love his students. He loves cats.
Wilder Pussycats.
That makes a lot of sense now, actually.
Yes, why he brought them there, probably strictly so he can look at them.
He's got some real serious lust.
I love how, like, I honestly only remember Tiger because he is just the best thing ever created. Blonde girl's name, how she's freaking out about the boys, and
Pixie Bob.
yeah, and Auntie is just like, yeah, she's ready to have a mate, so
Eternally 18.
Eternally 18.
I do like the translation change, by the way. To what did you just do to, or why did you do that to Midoriya's scrotum? To a punch to the scrotum is unforgivable.
Wow, that's thanks, funny.
I like mine better.
I mean, they're both right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ida continues to be the most responsible of boys.
Oh yes.
He's
so
best
good.
boy.
Yeah,
Actually,
this
no.
Good.
We actually know who best boy is, but we'll talk about him later.
Yeah.
God.
So it's a training arc.
Yeah, this is training arc.
We love training arcs.
Yeah, and in Shonen, you pretty much have training arc directly into big event, big fight, which we're gonna get.
Oh my God.
I was not expecting those
Mhm.
at the end of this episode.
Right,
Wait,
with Kota.
Yes,
yeah.
the Kota feels train just smacked into me, man. Like, oh,
No, it smashed into you.
yes, at about 5%. From an area in Detroit an area in Michigan that actually has water.
Ouch.
Oof.
Hot
can
takes.
we-
Hot takes.
Can we talk about Todoroki actually using his life experiences to empathize with Kota and explain his situation to Midoriya just from hearing about it?
Yes, like that is a proper way of getting shit done. Why do you call yourself otakus? Because we are otaku.
Like he went from being completely frozen.
Sorry.
He went from being, completely frozen and walled off to like empathizing with
Warming
a
up a
random
little bit.
stranger he's never met. Yes, warming up a little bit.
What? Justin is doing things and making noise. Sounds like he's rattling around a tin can and something.
Oh wait, am I making that sound?
That was absolutely you.
Oh, sorry guys.
Fuck yeah, it was great. Like, maybe you just talking to people isn't always going to work. I never thought of it that way.
Yeah, there are some situations you can't charisma your way out of.
There's a
Not with that
reason
attitude.
why charisma is only one of the attributes.
Talk no jutsu is not always 100% effective.
Exactly. Yeah, this episode was like, I love watching, Eraserhead. Like, I was fully expecting him when Bakugo was tossing the ball to erase his power to prove a lesson to him, and then he didn't have to erase his power to prove a lesson to him, and that's the sign of a good teacher. Like,
Agreed.
Delbert, you're real quiet on this one.
You're covering everything that needed to be covered. There wasn't much happening in these two episodes outside of a training arc.
Yeah.
Other than the end of the second episode.
Yeah,
Yeah,
end of
right.
the second episode is where stuff starts heating up.
Yeah, I mean,
Literally.
I only have about a half page notes on 2, and I have a quarter of a page notes on 3, because there's not much to talk about in both of these until the very end.
Oh, there's about to be.
Yeah, and literally 2 of my 3 notes is I love Tiger, and Tiger is the best.
I really do love the animation quality when God, I forget his name. Villain with the weird colored bottom half of his face.
What, you mean Todoroki's brother? Oh, fan theories.
Oh. God
Dobby.
damn it, Justin.
Dobby, yeah.
Dobby is
the-
free elf.
The animation when he's spawning those blue flames everywhere was so fucking pretty.
Yes. Am I the only one, like, non-manga readers, because fuck you guys and your hipsterness, I completely forgot what Mizuku's parents' quirks were.
They don't get referenced much.
Yeah,
It's
to be
like-
honest,
And especially because we still have not seen his fucking dad.
yeah,
Like,
I don't know if
It's
he's
All
dead.
Might. It's All Might.
Yeah.
There's too many dojins of it to not be true.
Go ahead,
Well,
Kirsch.
I mean, to be fair, blood does not make a father, and Midoriya's biological father is either dead or he's one of those traveling salarymen who's literally never home.
Exactly. I mean, like, when he was talking to Kota, like, he's like, why did he try breathing fire and doing telekinesis? Oh, right, Jesus.
Right.
Yeah, honestly, I'm a manga hipster for this series, and I had forgotten his parents' quirks too. I had forgotten that his mom even had one.
Right? They're referenced like twice, and yeah.
You tend to forget because, you think that Midoriya's quirk in the beginning of the series is him going like this.
Oh, that's a quirk. That's just his Tourette's acting up.
No, it's a it's a quirk with a lowercase q.
Oh.
Yeah. He has on-demand seizures for anything All Might related. So
That's just called being too erect.
He's the reincarnation of that rabbit guy from the Water Tribe.
Oh, jeez.
You're not wrong.
But
So,
yeah,
yeah.
I mean, All Might is clearly a father figure to him without being blood related, just because, you know, first response is, what would All Might do? And it's not because he's a fan of All Might, it's because of the bond that they have.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think like that's the biggest thing with Bakugo and Todoroki. They may be suspicious of what his power may be linked to All Might, but both of them are probably very jealous that he has an interaction with this guy, and they don't. They have no interact. They, especially Todoroki, doesn't have a relationship like that with anybody.
Yeah, I mean, Todoroki is still learning how to have relationships.
Yeah, and Bakugo is probably not able to have them because rage issues.
You should see his mom.
Oh
That's
my god.
all I'm gonna say.
That's all you can
well.
say.
Is she explosive as well?
Her personality is.
Yes, it is.
Nice.
Oh, lordy.
Like, swear to God, I can't remember if they did confirm or not that she's a former Yankee.
Oh, she
I would
has
not
to
be
be.
surprised.
Nice.
But yeah, as much as Bakugo is a little asshole, she takes negative 20 fucks from him.
Negative.
Awesome. All right. So anything else on My Hero Academia's beginning of training arc and end of a training arc, and now we get a big battle with the.
It's gonna be real good.
I really do love the random ass exercises they showed them doing. Like
Yeah.
sitting Todoroki in a bathtub. Or making Bakugo stick his hands in boiling water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You two just smack each other around a whole bunch.
I like Midoriya's just.
And then you have Tokoyami. Revelry in the dark. Revelry in the dark.
Rebellion.
Revelry in the dark.
He said it again.
Why do you keep saying that?
Rebellion.
I do kind of want to watch his training with Dark Shadow. Like that would have been really cool to watch. I think it would have taken this to a nice proper horror element. Like,
Oh, we
Well,
got one.
Stay tuned.
Keep in mind, it is dark outside.
yeah, it is.
Yeah. Oh god.
I am so excited for episode 4. Like, I'm so stoked because as much as I like the training arcs, like this show does fight so well because it is not just want to punch it really hard. Like there's always
it's not just physical conflict; it's a conflict of ideals.
exactly. Like Stain is one of the greatest villains ever created, and it's not because of his evil power. His evil power is cool, but like what he represents as a ideological nemesis to them is astounding.
Mm-hmm.
It is how you say lit.
And this series is really good at showing growth in more ways than just I'm a punch a training dummy real hard. They do
Real
occasionally,
hard.
and you'll see you see all throughout the entire series, Midoriya's sitting at home talking to his mom or whatever, talking to his friends on his cell phone, and in one hand he's got weights.
Yeah.
Like you see the characters grow as people, you see them begin to reference things that have happened in the past and extrapolate on how to handle what's happening now.
Exactly.
And when they do have to do a training montage, it's okay, cool, here's them doing stuff, now let's move on.
And they make a point to, and they even spell it out, make a point of, hey, it's not just your strength that needs to be enhanced. You guys need to know more about yourselves or else you guys are going to fail. Like, you are not going to be proper heroes if you don't know how to operate your quirk, which is a muscle. Like,
Right.
Also, poor Bakugo though, he has to have some kind of weird nerve damage because of his quirk.
Yeah.
Shut
Yeah.
his boiling water over and over again.
I'm wondering if they don't have like adaptive sort of mini quirks that help them withstand stuff like that.
They
Their
kinda
bodies are their bodies are like 100% made to work with their quirks.
have the reason
Yeah,
why
because
Nintendo
I mean,
does so much.
Mina doesn't melt herself. She can
Yeah.
slide on her own acid after all.
By the way, shout out to her being fully comfortable in her body at the hot spring. Like every other girl's
Right.
like hiding themselves when Kota's watching. She's like, "Hi!" I'm like,
Hi, friend.
That is her in a nutshell, though.
no, it's her in a
Like-
bathtub.
Got him.
No, that is 300% her character.
Oh
She
yeah, absolutely.
self-assured.
Yeah.
Also, did you guys notice that? First of all, it's great that they had Kota on lookout in the bathhouse, but in the second, in episode 3, when everybody's in their sleeping bags, they actually tied Mineta up.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's in a sleeping bag burrito that is tied up, and it's beautiful.
Oh man. All right. So enough of that training arc. Let's get into the literal training arc.
Okay, so I think I actually did say this 2 weeks ago. This is my least favorite arc of Shokugeki no Soma.
Oh.
By far. My least favorite arc in the entire series. I hope that they not change content, but up the pacing on this.
Yeah,
Because-
because like there's not much to say about these 2 episodes. Like aside from playing on yet another fetish with, Erina Sensei.
Right.
Yeah,
Like-
I mean,
That's it.
I don't like the pacing of this arc as it was originally written, so I hope that they adjust that. However, I do love the content of it. Like these past couple episodes, and even starting in the first half of the season, we're getting so much more out of Erina.
Yes.
Right.
She's not just the tsundere ice queen. She's starting to thaw a little bit. We're getting into her motivations, into her background, why she's like this.
Yes. Absolutely.
That's
And-
because she's actually the main character.
For her, yeah, it's absolutely a great thing. But and because she is now the main character, everybody else gets slid to the side. And it's like even when Soma was the main character, like obviously he's still the main character, but when he was the primary focus of the show, everybody else still kind of had like their growth with him. He was a building point for everybody else. Erina being Erina is just boom.
Bitch, I'm fabulous.
Carrie, you and I are the only people that know.
Shut
I
up!
love this
So,
series.
okay.
Strike!
So, okay, quick thing.
That's all I said. I'm done.
Having Arena find out who Soma is, I think they should have held that a little bit longer.
No, you couldn't have had this arc without it.
Yeah,
like
could not have had it.
She would not have done the potato lecture.
She wouldn't have snapped out of what she had, right?
Yeah, she wouldn't have snapped out of her funk because her lady boner would not have taken over.
Right.
Speaking of lady boners, Mito wants to bang everybody. I love her.
Also, I made that joke in the
Somebody
second
love me.
the second episode is she wants to give her the Mito.
So I am getting increasingly happy about the I guess increasing velocity that they are launching the Takumi and Tadakoro ship.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
'cause-
The escape velocity.
yeah, because they gotta go. I mean, Tadakoro and Takumi both want that Soma dick, but
Yeah, like,
I mean,
Clearly, that ain't happening now.
because it's funny because I didn't get that at all, the first time around that I experienced this arc. But watching this episode, I'm like, holy crap, what is
Oh,
going
shit.
on? Why is there
Double
like
date.
chemistry here?
Yeah.
that double date though.
Right.
I do love that. Yeah, we're not getting a lot of individual development outside of Arena. However, the ensemble as a whole is starting to gel with each other.
yeah.
Right.
You're starting to see, because originally it was, you had the Polar Star and people, and then you had the Aldini brothers and Soma and kind of Megami. And then
You
you had
Polar Star together, and it really sounded like you just said porn star. Like,
I mean the thing draws this series. And then you had, like Nikumi and kind of Megami and Soma. But now everybody's starting to kind of come together as a family. And that, like, I like that a lot. I like a strong ensemble. And to have a good ensemble, you need more than strong individual characters.
Right.
and then you have escalations off screen, like, what the fuck? When the hell did Akira become a fucking Totsuki 10?
I'm sure we're gonna. Well, here's the thing. One, I'm sure we're going to get a flashback to that in a coming episode. Two, Carrie pointed this out to me because I was pissed off about it. He joined the Elite 10 to save Mom's research lab.
Yeah. Remember when they talked about all organizations not approved of by the Elite 10 will be disbanded? What do you think was going to happen to the research group?
Right.
And
so he's literally saving Mom.
And a shit ton of people just got kicked out of the Elite 10, so someone had to fill those spots.
Yeah, that's right. They did split right in half with everybody.
Yeah, and the dissenters got kicked out.
Except for Polar Star dude.
Well, that's because he wrote the rules, literally.
Exactly.
Yeah, he managed to hang on just long enough to write the rules before they ousted him.
Well, they gave him the splash of him still being a seat. Like
His former seat.
Is that
Well,
former?
former 7th seat.
Oh.
Just like Kuga was listed as former 8th seat.
Yeah.
Right.
Kuga.
Kuga.
Okay, I didn't see the word former. I just saw the freaking Akira show. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
What are you
I
doing?
was wondering why so much of the opening sequence was dedicated to him and Soma fighting
Yeah.
when he
When
was
they-
last season's antagonist.
Yeah, and when they did such a big thing of making him, less of an antagonist, at least with Alice, like pairing up with Alice and working with her.
Spice
I mean,
Bros.
Yeah, because after a certain point during the Lunar Festival, you don't see him anymore.
Yeah. I
And
do
that's
love
because he was informed ahead of time of what was about to go down.
yeah.
I think that was the case.
I love the chemistry and the shonen rivalry between Soma and Ryu. Ryu.
Rio.
Right, yeah, Rio. Fish bro.
Fish boy. Boy.
Yes. Who do you think I am?
That was fantastic. Stop telling me what to do. Okay.
All right,
That
you
was-
got it, fam.
All right. So now for the new show. We're gonna move on to the new show of these.
Oh my god, you guys.
Oh, Jesus fuck.
Delbert, thank you so much.
I don't know whether to
Anime
thank
Love
you. I don't know whether to thank you or curse your name for the rest of my life.
You can
He
do
keeps-
both. It's fine.
He keeps saying shit like this, but he did not stop laughing the entire time.
It's
That's
so
literally-
fucking batshit.
It is. I love it. Magical Girl Ore, by the way, as Delbert and I tried to describe, it is a magical girl show where a failing idol becomes a magical girl after teaming up with the Yakuza, and she turns into a giant buff man because that's the form for fighting. And
Obviously.
It makes
She
more
had-
sense.
she has
But
a
she-
crush on her best friend's brother, who then turns out to have a crush on her male form, and her best friend wants to just bang her in any way, shape, or form.
And you know what I kind of love about this series, of many things, obviously, because I do unabashedly love this series. Do you guys know of a little thing called the Hawkeye Project?
No.
Oh, yeah.
It is where basically a bunch of artists in the fandom community as a whole will take sexist poses, situations, whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Hawkeye Initiative, yeah.
Yeah,
And
this
put
one-
Hawkeye in them.
Yes.
This is pretty much the Hawkeye Initiative.
Yes, absolutely. There's one this show is one of those ones, and I've said it over and over again. I like it when shows play with tropes and make them their own. I'm
This
running
show
late.
takes those tropes and does the sort of censored things that get done to these squirrel monsters.
Yes, it started off with I'm running late. Okay, take breakfast. And in any other show, she would be running out with strawberry toast in her mouth. Nope, peach pancakes.
Peach
Full
pancakes.
fucking plate of pancakes.
This show basically takes all the tropes you're used to and bashes it over the head with a giant magical girl staff.
How much
Magical
strength
yeah.
does this girl have? She's got a full, like, 5-stack tall pancakes.
Yeah, this doesn't just lampshade tropes. It smacks them upside the head with a sexy leg lamp.
See, exactly. With this though, like unlike with Pop Team Epic, like Pop Team Epic was like it took these tropes and was like angry at them. This is obviously kind of paying homage to them, but then obviously inverting your expectations.
Yeah, loving parodies are the best parodies.
The cute mascot.
I'm cute, damn it!
I'm adorable. Bitch, I'm adorable.
Look, I even have a cute vocal tick, damn it! It's so good.
Also, because we used it in a title, Peach Prince.
Yes, Peach.
Beep beep
Prince.
beep 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 beep
Beep,
beep
beep,
beep
beep,
beep
beep, beep, beep,
beep
beep.
beep.
So, in the subtitles, it put Ore is like the masculine eye,
It's
right?
the most masculine form of eye.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that's what you would expect, for example, a Yakuza to use. Or a guy who pictures himself as being Mr. Tough Guy, or even just a guy who goes to the gym a lot.
It is the most macho form of eye.
So you couldn't think of a better way to put that in there. Like, oh damn it doesn't have a dub yet.
All her the great thing is that like all her mannerisms are the same. They're not because she's still a girl.
Not a man. She's
yeah,
a girl.
I know.
In a big beefy body.
There is that one part where she tries to speak stereotypically macho, and it's hilarious.
Yes.
By the way, to Sentai fans out there, there's a brief moment in episode 2 where you can hear the Kyoryuger whistle jingle that they use when
What?
they mention. Yeah.
Yeah, when right after the transformation, when mascot Yakuza dude jumps in and does a little arm pump thing, you can hear the da 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 da.
Wow, that's pretty great.
There's like a straight up Kamen Rider reference in the first episode. It's like whoever is making the show is a Toku nerd.
Yeah, well, and then
Nice.
the friggin' Moomin Rider-esque dude that shows up at the end of the third episode is wearing a Kamen Rider costume
Yes.
on an electric bike.
Yeah, 100%.
Good
Like,
point.
I
Excuse
also
me, it wasn't the Kamen Rider reference in the first episode. It was the parody of Honey Flash.
yeah. I love.
So,
I
so
love
yeah, whoever's doing the show is Toku nerds, and I love them for that.
And that is one thing I love, because something that, Josh and I have talked about in the past, and I don't see brought up a whole lot, is Magical Girl is Toku for girls.
Absolutely.
100%. Also, I do want to point out to in episode 2, fuck you, Shokugeki no Soma. Animating food is hard, so here's a picture of it.
Yes, the real food.
What was with that?
Yes, that's what was with it. I just wrote down.
But again, take something refreshing with you. Full fucking plate meal.
Anime because
I didn't bring any yak weapons with me. That was a great one.
Yeah, the explosive fucking hairpins.
Yes. Magical
These
grenade.
weren't small explosives either. She practically orbital nuked those things.
Do you want the magical gun?
It's got unlimited ammo.
I'm surprised that there were any of those things left for her to nuke.
Yeah. Yeah, considering they were just beaten to death with the useless magical girl staff.
Also, I'm really hoping that we'll get to see Mom's magical girl form, given that it's highlighted in the credit sequence.
God, I hope so.
Dad, I'm Mom.
And then, oh gosh, I forgot what I was gonna say.
What and references to One Punch Man. Like there's
the facial expressions.
Yes,
Those are straight up One Punch Man homages, and I love them.
yes. I mean, I put a quote down for in episode 3 that explains this entire thing. No subtlety there. Like,
Yeah.
No ambiguity.
I love you. So do you mean like
Sexually.
do you mean like a friend, or do you mean like I love you sexually?
And the friend does not care, be you male or female. She just loves her.
And also, I love the fact that she's like, all of a sudden, she realizes that her dude form has probably a gigantic elephant-sized dick. It's like, I can't wait to show her.
You've got a rival in me. Well, I mean,
the monster dong.
That was the thing, was the mental math gymnastics to figure out, hey, I've got giant boobs. When I'm a guy, I've probably got a giant dick. And she's happy about this.
Well, because she realizes that I haven't watched enough of this to get the names yet. She realizes that Ore is a straight girl. So, thusly, how is she going to impress her except for looking exactly like her brother with a gigantic dick?
And Saki is actually starting to get a little bit confused too, because she's noticing, oh, they look exactly the same.
Yes, Saki is all in. Like, she's like, all right, cool, I'm good with this.
Oh, and how the brother is kind of afraid of Saki because she kind of like stalks him.
Looks at him like a ravenous dog.
That's
According to Jian, who is totally the villain.
No, he's not. He was in the bathroom, Josh. Also, it's because he's gay.
See, we're of two thought trains on this one. He either wants him to himself, because you notice the squirrel things were trying to abduct him through a portal.
Yes.
Or he wants him out of the picture because Mohiro-chan is the more popular of the duo.
I mean, yeah, possibly.
Or yes.
Or yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
Option C, yes.
episode 3 with the flashback with the flashcards.
Yes. I love the animals, by the way. This way, wolf, hop, hop. This way, squirrel.
Yeah, it's like, is this some magic ancient Magus Bright song?
Yes.
That might be why he's might be why that he was singing that weird ass carrots and sellotape song in the beginning of the flashback.
Oh, he was
because
so
keep
hurt.
in mind that if we're gender reversing the tropes, and you know the dudes are the heroes, you've got the magical princess who has magical singing powers.
Yep.
Who has to be saved all the time.
Can't wait for Mohiro-chan in a dress, because
Oh.
that's gonna.
Did you see how hurt he was when she told him that the lyrics sucked?
Yes.
He was like,
I love how they make him express so many emotions without ever saying a word outside of song. Like, it's so good. And
Step, bow. Step, bow. Step,
That was
bow.
so cute.
he looked back 8 times at me.
and of course she counted.
Of course she counted.
Wouldn't you?
And the friend of the manager, yeah, we saw the whole thing.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh yeah. Can we stop and shout out the manager real quick?
The magical manager, yes.
The magical girl Otaku. Who doesn't care that they're all buff guys? He's just really happy to see a real life magical girl.
Right. Yeah, he's like,
Oh.
I'm not gonna spread your story. I'm not gonna like ruin your secret. I just want to be around you.
Oh,
So
and
he's
his
gonna
I
spread their story, just not the way you would think.
Yeah. Well, yeah, he's turning them into idols, just as buff idol magical girls.
Also, those poor women in the restroom.
Yes.
So we did get a peek at our first villain.
Yeah, Kamen Rider.
I don't think he's going to be a bad guy. And we already know who the villain is.
He was in the bathroom, Josh.
The whole time.
The
The
whole
whole
time.
time.
Also, who the fuck would,
was really long.
how the fuck did she have a live cell phone feed to a camera stationed above Mohiro's shoulder, pointed at the entrance to a random ass men's room that Mohiro's friend was coming out of?
Magic.
Well, that was coming off of the mascot's cell phone.
Oh, because he was watching Mohiro.
So, I mean, obviously he's magical. He can change his shape and disappear.
Except
I
his
saw it,
face.
That makes more sense. I thought it was coming off of her cell phone, and I'm like, what the fuck kind of camera is she hacking into to be able to see this?
I picked a far better for you to carry me around, damn it!
I don't want to carry you around. I'm adorable.
I love it so much. This show is new anime of the season. Like,
I'm
Just-
really hoping that Saki's magical boy form can sing.
right?
Yeah, right.
He is not the greatest singer.
That poor girl. Of course, as Yakuza calls her, Tits Girl is the better singer.
Well, she comes from a musical family.
Yeah.
And she practiced a shitload.
Yeah. Well, so did Saki though. Like,
But she was doing it first was the thing to try and impress Saki.
yeah, I know, but Saki was still they've been singing together for years. You'd think with Saki would have been a little bit better. I understand the tropes and everything like that.
Imagine how she would be if she wasn't practicing.
That's true.
Yeah, and also there's a difference between like, yeah, she would have improved slightly just by doing it so many times, but musical training, you also have to train your ear.
Yeah, it's true.
And she clearly has not been doing that.
Yeah.
Oral
that's the reason
theory.
why- What's your theory, Justin?
No, I
He
just
said,
said
he
oral
said
theory.
oral theory.
Oh, I just heard I have a theory. Sorry.
And like the
No
first I know we're skipping between 1, 2, and 3 right now.
Because like I watched episode 1 twice, and then this last weekend I just binged all 3 of them together, and like so they all kind of meshed into one in my head.
In the first one where they have the girls sing and then they have the 2 guys sing, and you can tell the difference right there.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
I mean-
there's a reason that the guys have gone super mega platinum and the girls are singing on an empty stage in an empty alleyway.
No one showed up. Manager, is it like a holiday or something? No, you're just both really horrible. Thank you, manager.
At least he's not lying to them, right?
Right? He's being completely truthful with them. Oh man. All right. So, anything else on Magical Girl? All right, you guys.
I still don't know what to think about this show.
I'm
The show
so
speaks for
glad
itself.
that we found a non-shonen bullshit show for the summer.
It's still it's shoujo bullshit, just with men. So shoninjo bullshits.
Show Ninja,
Shonjo.
Show Ninja, Show Ninja, go.
It's still show bullshit still, but like it's different, and that's what we needed. Like I have not got to watch Love Is Hard for an Otaku yet, but I don't know so I have no judgment on that one. So I can't really say anything on it, but like I like the fact that this is separate enough, and also like does a proper dissection of what we are watching in the same season that we're watching all of this.
Yeah, also I will say, like, kudos to the team behind this show, because they are putting forth some risque fucking topics for Japan.
Oh yeah, like yeah, absolutely. And they kind of gloss over it a little bit, like, tit girls. Again, that's what they call her in the anime. It's not like, it's not like Kokoro, where I honestly keep forgetting her name. They do kind of gloss over that. It's like, oh yeah, sexual love, but hey, look, there's still a man demographic involved in this.
But yeah,
Unlike
just the idea of, you know, quasi homosexual relationships and transgenderism, you do not talk about those in polite Japanese society.
yeah,
If you are trans in Japan, your former identity, it's literally a dead name because that identity literally has to die.
Yeah.
You disappear and then reappear as new identity, and you don't make any sort of connection whatsoever.
Unlike Mojito, which is just straight up gay for Ore, like, and that I like. There's no, I mean, yeah, there's a female involvement in there, but no, he's like,
No, he doesn't know that. That's just raw attraction to, ooh, I like this.
yes, it is raw attraction to a very buff man, and
Papa likey.
In a frilly
Hatachi no
skirt.
likey.
And that's the thing. Would he like Ore as much in regular guy clothes?
yeah, I kind of want him to show up. I want Ore to show up in like tuxedo mask outfit, and just to see what Mahiro-chan's reaction is going to be. Like,
Or on the flip
That is
side of it, he becomes the tuxedo mask character.
But a female version of it.
Yeah, I'm waiting to see what happens with those idol girls that show up in the ending sequence
yeah,
or in the opening sequence. I can't remember. Either way, the orange-haired and the purple-haired idol girls, like, are those extra members of the team? Are they like actually going to turn into buff guys, or are they already
Mohiro?
guys turning into cute girls?
Yeah, or are they Mohiro? Maybe Mohiro and probably not what's his face, because
Joy,
he's obviously not the bad guy though. But you know.
obviously not the bad guy. I mean, his name is
Maybe.
totally normal Japanese.
It'll be that Kamen Rider guy.
Manager.
Yes, Kamen Rider manager.
No, as one of the girls in the opening.
Yes.
Did you guys notice that the manager's glow sticks change color every episode?
I thought that I noticed that. I'm like, wait a second, because it was red, white, and blue, and then it was red and blue and orange, and then red, blue, and very yellow. Like, theirs don't change. His does. I do kind of want. I hope that guy on motorcycle pulls out a deck of cards at one point, just because that's a huge thing that people are talking about now is playing cards on motorcycles. Like,
What is this, Yu-Gi-Oh?
exactly. All right, guys. So we are going to take a quick break, and then on the flip side,
We're gonna rock your fucking world.
oh boy, strap in, because it's Darling in the FRANXX on the other side of the break. Stay
You know what? I came here to have a good time, and now I'm feeling personally attacked because I have to go to bed soon.
Thanks so much for hanging out with us. Remember to support our sponsors, but if you want an ad-free experience, make sure you tune in live Mondays at 10 p.m. Eastern over twitch.tv/geekio show. Oh boy. All right.
Holy shit.
Things happen, guys.
Oh, fuck you, Ichigo. Fuck you, Ichigo. Fuck you, Ichigo. Fuck you,
Fuck
Ichigo.
you, Ichigo. Fuck
Okay,
you, Ichigo. Fuck
hang
you,
on.
Ichigo.
Hang on. So Ichigo has been getting a lot of flack for the past couple of weeks. And yes, she is throwing a wrench in the OTP. However, she is acting completely 100% in character, and it makes for a really good narrative. She is in love with Hiro. She doesn't know how to express that, how to respect appropriate boundaries in relationship, how to understand that he does not love her, he loves someone else. She is young and still immature, so she's going to be a little bit selfish because she's a fucking teenager, and that's something you have to learn how to grow out of. And number 3, she legitimately thinks she is doing the best thing for him. Like was brought up in our email earlier, she perceives 02 as putting Hiro in danger. So if you love someone and if you think with every core of fiber of your being that person will die if they go back to the person that they want to go back to, you're going to stop them.
You're right.
You're going to do what Ichigo did. And so, yeah, she did play an antagonist role in the story, but I thought that it was brilliantly written and brilliantly executed.
Yeah.
I am proud of Darling and the FRANXX for completely and totally subverting my expectations of an episode 14 obligatory shonen power-up. and that's saying something.
Absolutely. We got an episode 15, but there's that. But yeah, I'm glad that they did kind of take the separation, did not just go into the Shonen Power Up and allowed the characters to develop a bit more on that one. However, and yeah, you're right, Carrie. It is within Ichigo's character, and from whenever you get a rational conversation in the fandom, that's what people get to. They don't like Ichigo for what she did, but they understand why she did it, and
Right.
you can. That's completely understandable. I understand why she did it. I don't like the fact that she did it. Also, removing 40% of your fighting force as the military leader is completely ridiculous. Also, and that's not even just including the fact that it's obviously your strongest fighter. You're also alienating your partner, which she's lucky he could get it up at all. Like, after watching them kiss, she is lucky that he was able to be able to still partner with her. Like,
Well, and that goes back to her inexperience, right? Because we as adults know that, yeah, sometimes you've got to put that shit aside and do your job. But she's what, 14, 15?
Yeah, she is. All right, real quick. I read a bunch of the manga. Don't read the fucking manga. It's garbage.
Don't read the manga. Just don't.
It's straight up child porn. Like, I'm not even joking. It is legitimately child porn. There is a panel where Miku is literally fingering Kokoro. Like, there's no subtlety, no subtext. Everything that we praise this show about is completely thrown out the window. And it's really bad. Like,
I would honestly like to not give it any attention.
Yeah, I just
wanted to say don't read it.
Yeah, don't read it. And
this is one of the few times you'll hear us say, "Don't read the manga, kids."
Right.
So take my lesson from experience. The fact that I was reading this, and I'm like, oh, because in the Reddit they're like, hey, let's point out how much eki the manga is than the anime. I think eki. Vampire and Rosary or whatever it was called.
Rosario Vampire.
Yeah, Rosario Vampire and things like that. Like, Eki is fine, and then like 2 pages in, Ichigo completely naked goes, "Yes, Hero is inside of me." What the fuck?
Yeah.
So
quick
there
thing.
are some things.
So,
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. Did A1 and Trigger like read this and like, we can do this better?
They had
Probably.
to. Like, there had to have been. I mean, Justin told me the pedigree of it, though. Like, it's written. It's touted on there as it says right on there, written by Code 00. That's who I thought it would, like, the mangaka's nom de plume was. So I'm like, that person can go fuck themselves. Like, this is real dumb. But like, somebody at A1 and Trigger had to have looked at this and was like, okay, the story behind this is really good. Maybe we can unfuck this.
Well, here's what probably happened. Studio Trigger A1, they were having some drinks, like you do with coworkers in Japan.
Yes.
So what's the absolute worst thing you ever read? Well, there's this thing called Darling in the FRANXX. It's absolute shit. I don't think anybody could make this good. And Trigger,
accept
my beer.
Wait. You guys are getting the backstory wrong. The anime is not based off the manga.
Wait, what?
The manga is not the progenitor of the story. It is a Studio A1 triggered original that got a manga adaptation after the fact.
Okay, well then it still sucks.
Yeah.
It's
like,
not worth
yeah, it's go ahead.
I was gonna say, because that was kind of my first thought, was like when they mentioned that there was a manga and this is what it was like. Also, I like how I asked not to give it any attention, and now we're talking about it.
Yeah.
I asked, like, is this somebody like watched Darling in the FRANXX to adapt it, and there's is basically whoever's adapting it thinks about the show what the majority of the people watching it think, and don't actually understand what it's about.
Also, sure, the art is lewd, but some of the, like, okay. So I haven't read the manga, but I know what screen caps you guys are talking about with the terrible lines like "Heroes inside of me" and stuff like that. I
Yeah,
can
I blessed our Slack channel with that one.
I can most certainly 100% guarantee that a lot of the most lewd jokes or ridiculous lines are fan translation, fuckery. Because that's how fan translation goes. If Viz came out with their own version of this manga, I can assure you the translation would be way more conservative.
I mean, that still does not help the illustrations though. Like that. That's my
That's Yabuki Kentaro. That's Telovru Darkness all over. That's Shonen Jump.
Can we go back to talking about the good content, please?
Yeah, sure. That's fine.
Okay.
The manga is legitimately upsetting, and I don't think it deserves a spotlight on our show.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's fair. So yeah, and like I was saying though, like and you're right, Carrie. It is within Ichigo's character, but I don't have to like it.
Yeah, but that is to me what makes the narrative so good. I had a similar experience with a book I was reading a few years ago where a character I like was making stupid decisions that I hated, but it made sense for the character, and that's what enriched the story so much. You have to have conflict somewhere. It can't all come from Klaxosaurs or from Papa or from whoever. And for it to arise organically like this, because Ichigo is, for all she's really good at fighting, I mean, she's an ace pilot, she is also a rookie.
Yeah.
And a very young one at that. And so
she appears younger than any of the other girls in there. Like, I don't know if that is actual true or not, but she appears younger than all of them except for maybe Miku.
Yeah.
A lot of the Ichigo hate came from the disconnect between viewer and character.
Absolutely.
Right. We know the whole story, or at least what we've seen so far. Ichigo, all he saw was 02 legitimately harming Hero.
Yeah.
This is true, and the things that upset me most about that sequence of events was, one, don't you fucking hurt Goro.
Right?
He's the best boy.
Don't you touch a hair on his precious head.
He is the best boy who absolutely will not be living through this season.
He just got that crosshair put on him.
Oh yeah, the Darling and the FRANXX official Facebook put him as their focal picture, so he gonna die and soon.
Crosshairs, flags raised, horns sounding, DEFCON 1 alert.
Yeah, that trigger will be pulled.
Yes, absolutely.
The other thing that really bothered me about that sequence of events was when she's physically stopping him from going after 02 when she's being taken away to rejoin the Nines. And, like, that's almost rape right there. She is forcibly kissing him. He is not consenting. She is forcing herself on him.
In a very manipulative way.
Oh, absolutely.
I can be whatever you want me to be. I can make it work. And that was so not cool.
Yeah, and a lot of what Matt brought up in the original email, we'll talk about when we start talking about episode 15. But yeah, in this one, it's just obviously, focusing on, that it. And yeah, I mean, I can't profess to be ever been a teenage girl, at least in this life. But I was a teenage boy, and I've done stupid shit before like that, and I completely understand. But yeah, it adds to the character. It pushes things forward, proving that Goro can out Koiwai because he's Koiwai in a giant mech.
Right.
Sorry, it's like we were touting best wingman in Koiwai. Nope.
I do want to point out a little bit in the email, because it does touch on episode 14 as well, which is 02's abusive behavior towards the other squad mates.
Yes.
And towards Hiro himself. And one thing I love that this series did that other stories do not, because a lot of stories will kind of explain away abuse or, oh, it's okay because it's true love or whatever. And Hiro does not do that. He sees what 02 did to his friends and says, right now, you're not the woman I love, and walks out.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't take it at all as Hiro trying to tame her or trying to change her. He wants to, and he said this over and over and over again, he wants to know her better. He wants to experience who she is. He wants to be with her regardless of what's going on. And he's proven that that will even overcome when she is being almost a literal monster.
Yeah, and he does have a point in that the adults are kind of thinking that. Like, they want Hiro to tame her, but the adults are dicks.
Yes, the adults are clearly evil.
I'm really hoping that what will happen, and we have seen, obviously Hiro is the main person, the main driving force in her life because of stuff we got in the flashbacks, but I'm hoping that 02's humanization will come about with from a reconciliation with the rest of Squad 13 and them becoming a family unit. Because you see a little bit of that with her playing the bathhouse prank and Ichigo standing up to her standing up for her against the nines before shit went down. And so I'm hoping that they'll take that route rather than the damsel in distress route, because you're right, 02 does deserve better than that.
Yeah, they can't put 02 as damsel in distress. Like, it would be such a short shrift of a great character to put her into that kind of scenario.
I'm pretty sure they're basically just going to subvert it and have Hiro be the boy in distress.
I mean, that's kind of what the first episode was.
Yeah, so I have no reason to believe that things that happen in the series, like, I don't think there's been a single damsel in distress scenario in the series yet.
Well, Goro.
Exactly, but he's Broval in distress.
But I mean, I do see where those concerns would pop up, but what I'm sharing as my interpretation is kind of where I hope the series will diverge from those tropes.
It would be nice.
Absolutely. And shout out to, like, Hiro, admitting that he remembered Mitsuru's promise, and Mitsuru just like, this is not the time or place for this. I've forgotten about it completely.
But I hope that did bring some closure to Mitsuru, and
looked so happy when Hiro told him that he remembered. Like, he was so happy.
Right.
Oh gosh. So we had that episode.
Yeah.
And I do love, like, obviously we as the viewers want 02 and Hiro to be together, but I love all of Squad 13 coming around to protect their BFF.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
Absolutely. It shows you how strong the family unit actually is with Squad 13.
Yeah, with Squad 13 specifically.
Yeah, as we get ready to head into episode 15, where we meet the little shit and all of his friends.
Which, by the way, did you guys get a look inside their cockpits?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, that's real interesting.
First of all, the less big thing, all of them have fake horns, akin to 02's.
Yeah, they're like energy projections.
Yep.
Yeah.
Looks almost like magma energy specifically.
Yeah, and little shit was definitely in the pistols.
All of the men were in the pistol seats.
Yep.
Also, their custom FRANXX looks a lot like budget Sterlitzia's.
Budget Strelitzia's with Delphinium's head shape.
Yeah.
We got this episode went kind of full trigger, by the way.
Complete with the Kill la Kill sequence.
Yeah, it did.
Right. And did you notice? I was wondering why the Stampede mode eyes looked so familiar. Then Ketsu's crossed out eye.
Right.
Yeah. That was actually a pushback on some of the community. It's like, oh, they're just reusing animation, just changing it slightly. I'm like, no.
It's an homage.
It's an homage, first of all, and for fans of Trigger who watch all of their stuff, it also makes for an additional layer of imagery, because what we're talking about is the mid-season power-up where Strelitzia goes full red mode.
Yeah.
There's not a name for it yet. The animation sequence calls back to Ryuko putting on Senketsu, like full power-up mode. And in Kill la Kill, that's her owning her female body, her female sexuality. In Darling in the FRANXX, it is 02 and Hiro owning their relationship and coming into their own. In each of those situations, it's the protagonist's grand entrance onto the stage, so to speak.
Yeah, we are probably not going to get back unless we go ramp or stampede mode. We are probably not going to get back OG Strelitzia like we never got back OG Senketsu after Ryoku went, full power up.
Also, so I'm thinking that, well, this is obviously pretty obvious. The whole red form is very much akin to the red Oni siblings that we're already getting in characters for the show, of course.
Yep.
But,
With the blue horn.
With the blue horn and everything, so... yeah.
We
We're
did
getting blue Oni
lose...
Kiddo soon.
We did lose a plantation and an entire squad.
We lost 2 plantations.
Did they lose 13?
No,
they didn't lose
kind
13.
of.
They lost 26 because
It was
the
crushed.
Klaxosaur came out of it.
Mhm.
And then they maneuvered one into it to self-detonate. After
least
backing it up.
Wait,
At
I
least one.
thought it was the Squad 26 that blew up.
They did that.
Squad
Yeah, so the squad
26
itself blew
up, but then the
After their-
super layman class tank-faced bitch came up from underneath their plantation.
Okay.
And that is why they Protocol 32 showed up for them at that point.
Yeah,
They
their
didn't have a home to go to.
plantation is dead. Yeah, so it's just time to blow up. Like,
And then the other one kamikazed the shell.
Which,
But-
something that they said during the episode that made me very intrigued was the point where right before that plantation exploded, they said, "How's the backup going?"
Yeah.
Is it
What's
ready?
the backup? What are they backing up? Are they backing up the personality data of the adults? Are they just going to beam them into new bodies?
That's what I think.
Oh, and we also get to see what's inside of those crystals that they keep destroying.
Thank you. I was just about to bring that up.
Baby
because
02.
Holy shit. No, I don't think
Klaxosaurs are
that's...
people.
Yeah, Klaxosaurs are people.
So we know a couple of things from this is that magma energy comes from those cores probably, which is why the Klaxosaurs are attacking, because these humans are humans, quote unquote, are powering their plantations with liquefied Klaxosaur fetus.
yeah, it would be like running a city on chicken eggs. Like,
Hear me out, fam. Hear me out. Hot take. I think we're getting Matrix territory here.
possibly.
Like
Because-
people being used as fuel.
Yeah.
We have never seen Ape. Just the masked figures.
Right.
That they all have their faces hidden.
We did have
So
that
they-
one old
they
lady,
may-
but
They may not
She
be,
seems-
well, she wasn't a member of Ape was the thing. She was just
She's
one
just
of
an
the
adult.
adults.
yeah.
I have some of my own theories that are similar to but legally distinct from the ones already presented. I'm kind of wondering if the thing in the core wasn't a parasite,
Possibly.
because it's been pointed out in the previous episodes, like when Zorome was being taken care of by the adult, that she had to set her home healthcare kit to pet mode.
Huh.
And even that couldn't quite get him. The guards that came to take him back to the plant to the whatever the hell their home base is called.
The garden.
Well, no,
right?
the garden was the big one. I don't think they
Right.
have an official name for their little nook in the plantation.
Dormitory, probably.
Yeah, something
They
like that.
refer to him as an infected child. When they start talking about Hero's rising yellow blood cell count and his sorification.
Yeah, we got that dropped.
Okay,
Right.
and we've seen that, blue mask thing growing on his chest that was going to kill him that we haven't seen since, but obviously he's going to go blue Oni, but I think that those cores are being converted into the parasites.
Yeah, because remember when they were talking about Baby 02, Dr. FRANXX mentions this one is
Toxosaur through and through.
this one is holding a human shape better than the others.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Oh.
I've thought this before, from previous episode, little slips like that, but I am 100% on the boat now that the parasite children and the adults and probably even ape themselves are completely different species.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm with you on that one.
And just there's so many interesting little things in this episode, like the fact that the nines are all male pistol, female stamen, and their units specifically are very proto Strelitzias,
Yeah.
but they're faceless. They don't have that same sort of personality as the other FRANXX do. We get Dr. FRANXX's first name, Werner.
Werner.
We get to see that the red suit 02 originally wore was a nines suit.
Yeah.
And even then it was a pistol suit, which is
We got
interesting.
that in the first episode. When she was licking herself and saying she didn't like the way she tasted, she was in her nines uniform.
Yeah, but we didn't know it was a nines suit back then. It was
Yeah.
just like, oh, that's just what she wears.
Yeah, the whole thing with the cores looking like people. And then the post-credit scene.
Oh boy.
The giant fucking hand coming up out of the ground and wiping out most of Plantation 13.
Right.
Yeah.
Most of it. Not all of it, but most of it.
But it
and
also
seemed
crushed
like it was
this
on purpose.
mountain of a Klaxosaur. Like just
Which had a skeleton, by the way.
Right.
Yeah.
These things had seemed incredibly mechanical up until this point, but have skeletons.
They've always exploded before we saw anything. There was
Yeah,
always
And
That's
a lot of them have been very insect-like.
This one was definitely a lot more.
Mammalian?
Yeah.
Yeah, like a giant rhino tank or something.
which one? Which episode? I can't remember the episode, but the transforming one.
Yeah. Okay.
That was more mechanical, like CJ was saying.
Yeah.
A reconfigurator.
God, what else? Because a lot happened in this fucking episode.
A
One
lot.
thing I liked seeing was, first of all, the nines, who are, super black ops special forces, acknowledged Squad 13's fighting.
Yeah.
Right.
Plantation 26 asshole actually showed some personality and mentioned that he was glad Squad 13 was there.
Yeah.
I'm sad we didn't get to see any of the other Plantation's FRANXX because there were a bunch of FRANXX units there, but the action wasn't focused on them. You did get to see a dead FRANXX in the background.
True.
In the very beginning, when they're showing the Squad 13 kids what's going on there, you get a camera shot of a dead Plantation and a dead FRANXX and Klaxosaurs just running all over them.
Yeah.
And then we get to figure out next episode what the fuck the ground crevasse is.
Yeah,
And what role it plays in humanity's liberation.
Right.
so you guys, Goro is best bro.
Oh.
He is. He really
We've
is.
mentioned it the whole episode, but like, we're
He's
actually
best
on that
boy.
episode now.
Yeah. Seriously, I mean, with all the insinuation of, sexuality with piloting, hey, Hiro, fuck my woman real quick so you can get with yours. Like,
Yeah, I don't know why
There's-
he couldn't have just put Hiro in his hand or stuck him in the cockpit with them, but it was a
Probably
powerful
because-
baton pass moment.
Yeah, probably
Yeah.
because he realized that Ichigo and 02 were gonna butt heads before anything happened.
Because Ichigo needed to see that connection.
Right.
She needed to see that the only thing in Hiro's mind was 02.
Yeah.
also, Hiro can now pilot with other people, though.
I don't.
In that
what I think that was
situation,
is
that was
Yeah, go on.
emotional unification.
Yeah, I think that was also her accepting that he did not love
Yeah.
her.
All Hiro wanted to do in that moment was get to 02 however fucking possible he could do it. And Ichigo, all she wanted to do was pilot with Hiro. That's all she ever wanted to do. She wanted to connect with him. And so in that moment with him having to pilot Delphinium to get to 02, their goals actually properly lined up for the first time. Their emotions were in sync, not the way Ichigo wanted, but they were. And that was what enabled them to connect.
Yeah.
And a couple little things that I really liked in like that leading up to that sequence. Can we talk for a split second about Hiro in the test dummy?
Right.
that was incredible.
The
A damn good
fucking
moment.
ninja ass moves he was pulling off in that thing that's, basically good for moving cargo and little else.
Yeah.
With his little boat oar.
Where the fuck did he get a boat oar?
I don't know, but it's
And
great.
just, like the flips, the pole vaults, the basically piloting that thing so aggressively that it broke down and he kept going because that's how badly he wanted to get to her. And then, I can't believe nobody else has mentioned this, but the exact sequence of events leading up to that unification and power-up of Strelitzia. I called you fodder. I called you a monster. We're even. We need to talk about it.
Like an
Yeah.
actual healthy relationship between two
Yes.
people that know how to talk to each other. It's I.
Or
I
We
not
was-
even
both made mistakes. Let's work on it together.
I could
And-
not relate with that scene enough. I loved it so much
Right.
and made me incredibly happy.
And not necessarily even people that know how to talk to each other, just people that love each other and are willing to figure out how to talk to each other to make it work.
Right.
Yeah, and that's the reason, like, that's the main point where I disagree with, like, Matt was insinuating, and I'm sorry if I took your email wrong, Matt, I'm sorry. But, like, he was assuming that, and obviously the adult intent is Hero taming 02, but, like, that's the main reason why, that's the main point where I would disagree with him on that. Yeah, he knows that she is a wreck. He doesn't know half the shit that she went through, but he is willing to work with her on that. He doesn't want to change her. He wants her to discover who she is. And he
This
will
world
be there
is
with
so
her.
much bigger than we know.
Exactly. He will be there with her no matter what. And that's not taming. That's fucking love.
Yeah, like
Even
I
the
don't want
parallel-
you to like. I mean, yeah, you gotta depend on this person, but it's a give and take relationship, or it's a
Well,
compromising.
That's why they
relationship.
keep making the reference to that presumably fictional bird.
No, I
Jian.
think that Jian is real. At least it's really heavily. Hold on, Jian.
But I want to say that's probably going to wind up being the name of the power-up mode, but
Jian mode or whatever.
It's a mythological bird.
okay.
Yeah.
So
It's based on a Chinese double-edged straight sword.
okay. So when they are making their assault on the Grand Crevasse, it's pretty big. Do you think we can do it? If I'm with you, we can do it together. We can do anything. That's not just looking at the Grand Crevasse. That is the very notion of life in general. As
They can
long as
finally-
I'm with you, we can do this.
They can see the world. They can do what they set out to do in the beginning. They can be
They
alive.
can fly.
Yes.
Also, right after the new Strelitzia got her face, after I watched it again, there actually were a bunch of red, white X's that were coming down.
Yeah,
from
the
the eye.
pixel tears.
For pixel tears.
Yep.
Delphinium had a couple too.
Yeah,
when
she had a couple
Go-
too.
Also, Delphinium, that's a helmet, not an actual.
Yeah,
Overhead.
it's got hair.
Yeah.
These mechs got hair, baby.
The mechs have hair
Wait,
that bounce. The hair bounce. And that was weird.
What didn't her helmet get like destroyed, and then in the next shot of her, it's back?
It
I
got
feel like it was
knocked off.
just it was just knocked off. There were
It was knocked off by literally butting heads with Strelitzia.
Yeah.
Also, I love was it Argentea that picked up Goro and was just like,
Yes.
really? You had to
Yeah.
do that?
Not only that, it was both.
Can you guys turn
pilots
off your comms?
sync.
Oh
It
yeah.
was both pilots?
Yeah, it was on the actual when they picked up Goro.
Oh, yeah,
it was
it
actually
was, Mitsu and Zorome talking
at the
in
same
sync.
time.
It's because those two of any of the others have, have been fully in sync more than anybody else. And now then that was reflected in, Strelitzia with both of them talking at once. But yeah, like this entire episode, whenever you heard Zorome or Miku, they were together. Like they were one voice.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
I love how the super immature characters in any other series would wind up as the comic relief, and they end up being probably the most healthy and normal relationship on the show.
Yeah,
Love it.
absolutely.
I'll try not to ogle you too much. I don't know how you could. I'm too cute.
Oh yeah.
And also like, and I brought this up with the episode with Zorome and Miku. It's not like, this is not to borrow from Rent. I'm looking for somebody whose baggage goes with mine. Like this is not a taming thing. Like they're just trying to find a piece of the world together.
Yeah, I definitely agree that the adults want Hiro to tame 02.
Oh
But-
yeah, absolutely. But fuck the adults.
Yeah, that's
The adults are
definitely
actual garbage.
that's not how 02 and Hiro are looking at it, which makes a big difference.
Yeah.
I'm thinking like Hiro, he's when he was young, he questioned everything.
Well, that was the thing. We got a lot of that in episode 15 when he was moving towards breaking out in the training suit. Was you saw a lot of his internalized dialogue on the screen.
And
I'm
he
fading
actually
away.
said-
When did I stop asking questions?
Yeah. Why did I stop? Yeah.
When did I stop asking all these questions? Why did I change? What happened? Now it's him just trying to get back to where he was.
And I think it was really interesting. I think, was it in 14 where we got the drop that his parasite aptitude started dropping after his incident with 02?
Yeah.
Yes.
He's the only one that could actually change his fucking aptitude. Like,
Yep, and they confirmed it in 15 because he mentioned that after that happened, his aptitude score tests started dropping, and then in 15's flashbacks, when he grabbed her horns and basically went back into her head, you hear the scientists talking about how he's probably going to be useless now that he's ingested her blood, but keep him around because he's an interesting test subject.
so hey guys, I want you to take a look at Discord here in just a second. I found the greatest thing ever. Posting.
While you guys are doing that, it's 11:45, and I've been here the longest I've ever been on this podcast, guys.
Oh, you poor thing. The perfect squad doesn't exist.
So
All right, Justin.
it was a pleasure speaking to you guys about anime I love so much. Have a good night, everybody else who is on and listening.
All right, take it easy, dude.
No.
Night.
I'm trying to find the. I found a great poem earlier written about Goro. I'm trying to find it again.
It'll be in the show notes.
It will be in the show notes.
The perfect squad doesn't exist.
It's all Goro.
I still don't see anything in the Discord.
Or not Discord, Slack.
The other one.
It's beautiful. I love it.
Oh my god. By the way, when they showed that shot of all of Squad 13 posing for Hiro, I was terrified that all of them were gonna get destroyed.
Oh yeah, like that was going to be the last time he got to see them smiling or something like that.
Yeah.
Man, we all know what's coming. Someone or multiple people are going to die.
Yeah, his name rhymes with Moro.
I don't know, because they do you think they would pull a Whedon on us?
No, they're gonna pull a trigger on us. This is what they do. Did you not watch Gurren Lagann?
True, but that was like episode what, 11 that they did that? 8?
8. That's why I got real nervous around episode 8 with this show.
Right. Yeah, it was. I was definitely afraid of that.
Well, if there is gonna be a death, they have officially made it twice as long.
Maybe that's the subversion that they're looking for, though. Like everybody.
Yeah, we keep waiting to see who's going to die, and they don't actually kill off anyone.
Yeah,
I mean, they killed off all of Squad 26.
And Naomi.
Yeah.
And Naomi, yes.
And Naomi, yeah, they fucking euthanized Naomi. We also, I guess they could kill off some of the 9s, but they're too interesting to kill off yet.
All right, we haven't had enough development of the 9s.
Yeah, they're gonna be the antagonists, at least before we get to the adults. All right, here we go. Our God, bro, who art thou in Dalphidium, hallowed be thy name. Thy plantation come, thy will be done on earth as it is in plantation 13. Give us our daily 02, and forgive us our daily hatred of Ichigo, as we forgive those who hate our waifus. Lead us not into thoughts, but deliver us from Papa, who is definitely evil. Amen.
That's not a poem. That's a reworking
it's
of
prayer. Yes,
it's a reworking of a prayer. Oh,
Which is a poem in its own right.
true.
Yes, it is a poem.
True, it is. But yeah.
So it was really kind of cool to see things like the extra bits of arsenal built into the other FRANXX.
We did get a little bit more onto Glasses Chan's one as well. Like,
Holy
Chlorophytum and the fucking full burst heavy arms worthy beam rifle barrage.
right? And then freaking Mitsuru's, okay, we don't have ammo. Let's use the arms. Like,
oh, that was Futoshi, I think.
Futoshi, yeah, sorry. I got used to them being in the same one.
Which is great because he's actually using his experience in Janista, who can be, cannon fire and up close when need be, to keep Chlorophytum in the fight even when she's on slide lock.
Yeah, absolutely. And man, just I love the development and like in general of this fucking show. Like it's so good. And it's the reason why every show we're like, oh shit, how long do we have to dedicate to Darling in the FRANXX? I mean, if it was, it's not even a bad thing that we're dedicating this much time. Also, this is going to be the obligatory reminder. Hey, everybody, we have a trigger panel coming up at MetroCon on June 19th in Tampa, Florida, or July 19th, rather. Come out and check us out. It'll be all about trigger and subversions and inversions and, everything. It's going to be fan-freaking-tastic. We're going to get more pimping on that here starting in May. I'm going to start hammering on that big time. But, yeah, we're going to be at MetroCon, 2 panels. Come check us out.
Also, can we talk about how pretty that sequence was with them bursting the dome?
Yes.
That was visually stunning.
Oh, absolutely. Just everything, like all of the animation, especially in this episode, was just. This would have been like I keep having to remind myself that this is a 24 episode season because, like, it keeps giving these punches that would be a season ending for any other series,
and it keeps bringing them.
Yes.
The I got Gurren Lagann vibe with the big giant hand.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Gurren Lagann / Furikuri.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
the fact that
thing could have easily latched onto an iron, and I would have been like, okay.
Yeah, this
It was
is
big enough too.
The fact that the fact that we got the upgraded Sterilizia immediately followed by that. At the end of the series, they're going to be fighting top of a galaxy.
Like, is this even a real planet at this point?
Yeah, right.
Like,
Where?
like,
Yeah,
like,
where exactly?
are they living on a giant Klaxosaur?
Yeah. Hey, that could like. Are we? Yeah, are we gonna go? What is it? Wheel of
Yeah.
Time?
Discworld, I think you mean.
Magma energy is
Back
blood.
of a giant turtle.
Yes, that's what I was going for. Thank you.
But yeah, just like, and especially because the episode was already so fascinating and powerful and tear jerking and blood pumping. Cause like the second they got, that whole, we can work on this, we can talk about this, like, oh, here it comes. Here it
We're
comes.
getting our shonen
And then the opening song started.
Theme song Power Up is so good.
And it's weird for this show. Like this show has such a like somber intro theme, like with Kiss of Death. It does.
But it just switched it completely from this like kiss of death to suddenly happy.
Yeah, and did you notice the second verse is a duet?
Yes.
There is a guy voice in there.
I read
It's
somewhere
almost
that the Kiss of Death song jumped up like a shit ton on the iTunes downloads after this.
I am literally not surprised at all. It's
Not.
No
a
shock
good episode
whatsoever.
before. It was a good song before.
Also, you guys,
Attached to it.
Mitsuru's friend saw him fighting the Klaxosaurs and talking about how they were going to protect everybody.
Yeah.
You saw her smiling as Argentea went flying past her window.
Yep.
And then
Right.
she was destroyed.
Maybe.
Maybe. She
Maybe.
might be in the little sliver that survived.
You mean
Or
Zerome's
between
friend,
the
by the
cracks of
way?
fingers.
Yeah.
Zerome's friend, not Mitsuru's friend.
Yeah, why did I say Mitsuru? Zorome's friend.
Hey, I'm not the only one who mixes up names. It's getting late though, so I think it's about time that we wrap up.
But yeah, like I was saying, as part of the wrap up, like the episode was so good, and then the post-credit scene just drove it up to 11.
Right.
And one tiny little thing after that is they are actually taking a 2-week break. So we're not getting episode 16 for a week and a half.
Table flip.
God damn it.
So that just drives
No,
home,
but bringing the bad news.
it drives
So the
home how
upside
important
is,
this
instead of an
episode
hour on Darling in the FRANXX next episode, we're only gonna get what's
Oh, Raul.
we're only gonna have to spend a half hour on Darling in the FRANXX next episode because we're only gonna have one episode to deal with.
Well, we
It's gonna
don't,
be an
we don't
episode,
know.
though.
Yeah, we don't know what's coming, so we might still take an hour on it.
Yeah, remember I thought the same thing. The mid-season break of Ancient Magus Bride coming back, and then it's like, all right, yep, okay, one episode is all I fucking needed.
Yeah.
That's part of what made Ancient Magus Bride and this show so great, is they managed to give you so much to think about and talk about in a 26-minute show.
Yeah. Thank you, by the way, Darling in the FRANXX, for only giving us the hard shit after Ancient Magus Bride was off the air.
Oh my god, can you
Right.
imagine?
4-hour rock block. We would be doing generic live show on just Ancient Magus Bride and Darling in the FRANXX if this shit was going on at the same damn time.
My heart can take it.
And do that. He'd be over there like, what are they talking about and why are
We'd
they
be
on my
watching
show?
Ancient Magus Bride, Darling in the FRANXX, and How to Keep a Mummy.
Yeah, our
Guys, where's Josh? He's over at the corner crying and hugging his robots.
He's
No,
in,
no, no.
he's in the
Darling in
crying
the
corner.
FRANXX. God damn it. Darling in the FRANXX, Ancient Magus Bride, and then can you imagine if MMO Junkie was airing at the same time?
Oh my god.
Like, all right, so yeah, all three of these shows have made me cry on air. So just all of them at once, just making me weep openly. Like,
Also, one quick little takeaway from this last episode. Ape clearly has a plan for something that they want to be doing. I'm pretty certain at this point Dr. FRANXX has his own plan.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
without
it was
question.
made very obvious since he was like not leaving at Plantation 13. Like, yeah, it is obvious that his plan is separate than Ape, and I don't know if he is the good guy involved in this or the bad guy involved in this.
I hope he's the good guy.
I kind of doubt it. I hope so too, but I kind of doubt it. I have a feeling that they're going to do that whole thing where it's like, the evil overlords get demolished and they get snoked, and then we have to deal with FRANXX as overlord. I hope not. I want to like FRANXX, even though what he did at 02.
I think the more likely scenario is that FRANXX has his own agenda entirely, and for the series so far, and probably a little bit further, his goals happen to align with the protagonists, except for the whole abusing 02, because that shit is not excusable.
I hope so, because that's the thing about Kill la Kill. Like, you didn't get the actual bad guy until much later. Like,
Keep in mind, Carrie still hasn't finished it, so keep the terms vague.
Okay.
I have seen who the real bad guy is.
Okay, yeah, you don't get to see that entity for a long time. And everything that you are set up before then is just insanity and awesomeness, especially once you take the entire thing and hold it all together.
It's like a finely woven tapestry.
And then you get alien talking clothes. Spoiler alert, the talking clothes are aliens.
So yeah.
All right, guys. So yeah, let's go
Thank you
ahead.
so much for joining us.
Extra long episode, but there's a lot to unpack here.
Extra thick.
That's
All
how we
right.
like it.
Just like Matt M, you can email the show at geekioshow@gmail.com. Just put anime in the subject line. If you want to get in touch with you can also email us an MP3, 60-second or less MP3 to that as well, and I'll force Raul to play it on the show. If you want to get in touch with us on social media, you can do so as well. Geek.io Show, pretty much Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, all of the places. Again, you can listen to us live Mondays at twitch.tv/Geek.io Show. You can give us a call if you chose to do that as well. 727-429-4335. That is 727-489-GEEK. You can chat with us live on our Discord at twitch.tv. Nope. geek-io.net/Discord. And you can support this stream and everything that we do on the Geek.io network by heading over to patreon.com/Geek.io. I have a feeling when I take a hiatus in June, the outro portion of this of these notes I'm going to come back to, and it's going to be like 15 pages much longer. Because I only have 3 points on here because I remember everything else. And whoever's taking over this show in June when I take a hiatus.
All right.
Oh yeah,
See
speaking of
you
which,
guys
guys, I won't be
later.
on the show in June. So there's that. All right, guys, we'll see you next time. Bye!
Bye. Oyasumi nasai.
Hi, my name is Water Buffalo, and I hope you've enjoyed this Geek.io Media Network production. Copyright 2018, you see how that works?
Ah, Goku!
He couldn't handle the Broly!
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.